Hi, this is Alex S. Johnson. I'm reading my story, The Final Girl, from my collection Wicked Candy, from Morbid Books. Sally Bainbridge was sick of running. She could still hear them behind her, steady and tireless as robots. The guy with the ski mask and the 6-inch serrated blade, the dude with the chainsaw and the mask of human skin, the man who wore a Donald Duck mask and brandished a squeaky toy. They'd been chasing her for hours through the forest, and in the process she'd lost most of her clothes and was reduced to a frilly bra and thong panties, both shredded and filthy. Her hair was a beyond bedhead disaster. Her cheeks were streaked with the dried trails of her tears. Cold sweat was dripping down her ass crack, one icy drop at a time. And her coochie smelled like rancid meat. Makeup? Forget it. Completely ruined. The only thing she could still boast about was her great muscle tone. Her pursuers, on the other hand, were doing just fine. While her skin was cut and nicked and punctured from thorns and brambles and branches, they were barely scratched. While she was breathing heavily, had a stitch in her side, cramps in her legs, and was almost overwhelmed with fatigue, they forged on, powerfully, to the accompaniment of cool theme music and/or sound effects. Sally found these conditions simply wrong and definitely unfair. It was time for a game change. She stopped in her tracks and put her head down, hands on her thighs, until she had caught her breath. Then she turned around, squared her shoulders, placed her hands on her hips, and faced her would-be attackers. "This," she said, "is fucking ridiculous. We need to talk." Ski Mask halted. He was wearing a heavy plaid shirt, black work pants, and thick-soled boots. He passed his blade from one hand to another and closely examined the edge. Chainsaw Dude halted too a few seconds later. He had on a brown flannel shirt, jeans, and sneakers. He trailed his fingers across the two-stroke engine and then, with a sigh, lowered the saw. Donald Duck mask, in a V-neck blue sweater, blue corduroys, and Crocs, squeezed the squeaky toy. "Now that I have your attention," she said, "well, most of it, Duck Boy, lose the toy. It's getting on my last nerve. My name is Sally Bainbridge. You all know me. I'm the final girl. The survivor. The one who returns for the sequels. The one who educates the other would-be victims and explains how the killers got to be so freaky." Ski Mask ran a gloved hand over his blade. Chainsaw Dude fondled his weapon of choice. Duck Boy held up the squeaky toy to his ear, then squeezed it again. He made a gurgling, satisfied noise deep in his throat. Duck Boy here may be slightly challenged, but I don't think he's going to wreak much damage with the squeaky toy, other than driving me fucking crazy. So here's the deal. You guys clearly have some hang-ups. Big ones. My guess it has something to do with your relationship with your mother. She fucked you up. So naturally, you see all women as the enemy and want to fuck them up. Kind of a primitive logic, but hey, it gets you up in the morning. So we're going to do a little therapy session. Make a few emotional connections, tie up some loose ends. First, you with the ski mask. Tell me about Mommy. Grisly details and all. And don't give me that catatonic mutism bullshit. We're going to settle this thing now. My mother? Man, you really want to hear this? She dressed me up in girly clothes and said she would cut off my wanger if I so much thought about sex. Then she locked me up in a closet with all these pictures of Jesus and wouldn't let me out until Jesus forgave me, which never happened, so I spent a lot of time in that closet. After that, it's pretty much of a blur. I set a lot of fires, wet the bed. Then I started in with animal torture. Gerbils, mostly. Wasn't so much torture as, well, let's just say that some of them died from suffocation. Most of them. They were so cute, I couldn't bring myself to, rip them up or anything, so I put them back there, up my ass. After a while they stopped struggling, and then I had to dig their little bodies out and dispose of them. It got really messy. But I didn't want to do it. I was compelled. My mom's voice was in my head 24/7. I started having these feelings of rage. Just out of control hatred at anything female. The gerbils made me feel better. More complete, I guess. I began to stalk girls. I would follow them home and watch them. Sometimes they left the blinds open and I saw them undress. That made me feel funny. I was aroused, but I wanted to hurt them too, like stuff their panties down their throat and blind them with scissors and hide in a tree and whack off and cut myself and use my own blood as lube. And then one time Sally held up a hand. Good start, liking the honesty. Okay, let's hear from Chainsaw Dude.
Yeah, hey, my story is pretty much the same as Ski Mask here. Only much more intense. My mom didn't just threaten to cut off my ding-a-lang. She lopped it off with a Ginsu knife and fed it to our Yorkshire Terrier, Fluffy. My rage was like way advanced. I skipped right past the serial triad. Bedwetting, setting fires, and touching animals are cool and everything, but I don't know about gerbils, but whatever flicks your back. And started collecting trophies when I was 10. By the time I was like 15, our backyard was a fucking cemetery. Girls stacked up on top of each other. Can't remember where I started slicing their faces and tits off and wearing them myself, but it was pretty early in the game. Not only that, good, okay, we'll get back to you in a moment, said Sally. So basically, all of you have deep-seated sexual neuroses stemming back to years of abuse and mistreatment, except for Duck Boy here, who seems to have stumbled in from the wrong genre. Not one of us. Ski Mask grunted. Oh, hells yeah, said Chainsaw Dude. Gobble, gobble. We accept her. Fucking love that movie. Me too. But back to my point. Hey, believe me, I get it. I have depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, body dysmorphic disorder, irritable bowel syndrome, hypervigilance, trouble sleeping, hives, shingles, migraine headaches, jumpy bladder, among other symptoms. I can't keep a job for more than a week at a time. My social skills are totally shot. I haven't had a date in 5 years. Want to know why? Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you. Because all my dates end up getting hacked to death by guys like you. You're not alone in feeling isolated and
frustrated and lonely and horny and ready to wax a chump. I get it, but do you see me running around with a spear gun or a hacksaw? Have I ever eviscerated anyone just so I could run my hands through their steaming guts in lieu of, I don't know, getting off? I don't think so, and it's not like I haven't thought about it. In fact, these days, almost all I think about is screaming, bloody, homicide. Gee, I wonder why. So, here's what's up. I am the final girl, which means you don't get to kill me. Ever. Sure, you can scare me, chase me, pop up from under my bed, rush out of the closet, or whatever. But the rules of the genre dictate no killing the final girl. Okay, a little stabbing action here, hell, some grab-ass, kidnapping, gimbaku, golden showers, manophilia, suck my tampons all you want, more where that came from. But you can't kill me, which sucks. I know, because it messes with the total body count. Hey, I didn't make the rules, so stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes. I'm talking to you, duck boy. What's that you've got in your pocket? Come on, hand over the squeaky toy. No, mine. I just want to see it. You've had it for a long time. Don't you want to share? Okay. Hesitantly, he placed the toy in her outstretched palm. Very good, duck boy. Now watch carefully. Sally hurled the toy as far as she could into the forest. There was a slight splashing sound, then silence. Duck boy screamed, a loud, blood-curdling howl of anguish. Ski mask covered his ears. Chainsaw Dude looked longingly at his chainsaw. Hey, he said finally, do you think I might? Oh, what the hell, said Sally. Go for it. Chainsaw Boy revved up the saw and beheaded Duck Boy with a few capable swipes. His head fell to the ground and his body followed a few minutes later, once it had realized what had happened to the head. Thanks, said Chainsaw Dude. I just had to get that out of my system. No worries, said Sally, and thank you too, actually. Okay, so anyway, and please put the saw back on the ground. That thing makes me nervous. As I was saying, I'm just your average hot, busty 19-year-old girl. I'm not a heroine by any stretch of the imagination. Wasn't looking to get into the horror gig, that's for sure. A little stripping to pay my way through college. Conda and Boca. Millionaire boyfriend to buy me lots of bling, that kind of thing. But no, you guys. She plucked a rock from the ground and began to hammer Duck Boy's head into a sloppy cipher. You guys had different plans for me, like spending half my time fending off chainsaws and knives when I'm not running for my life. I'm not complaining so much about that part because you can see the results. Oh, stop drooling, you pervs. Nice little hard body, huh? Sweet six-pack. Yeah, well, guess what? You're not getting any of this. Yes, Chainsaw Dude? You got a question? Oh, yeah. What's kinbaku? Japanese rope bondage. Literally, the beauty of tight binding. Not your style. Takes too much patience and self-control. Anyway, I want you to leave me alone. All of you. That means no chasing, no attacks, no mutilation, and absolutely no, under any conditions, killing me. Let's put it this way. If you kill me, you are banned from horror forever. Excommunicated, banished, shunned, Think about it. You'll have to get a whole new career. Shave every day. Bathe. Clip your nails. Get yourself some professional clothes. And if you even think about scaring somebody, much less stuffing a corpse with tasty treats and beating it like a piñata, you go straight to horror jail, which is just like Disneyland, but much more smarmy. Everybody in horror jail wears the happy face, and the sound of music is on autoplay. Not the Julie Andrews version, the other one. The wardens dressed like chipmunks, and she shuddered. And you don't want that. Or do you? All right, I've got a question, said Ski Mask. Go for it. You make some really good points. I mean, I never really thought about any of that stuff before. You get caught up in it, the chasing, the strangling, and stabbing, and eye gouging. Pretty soon you lose perspective, you know. I can't speak for Chainsaw Dude here, but I think you deserve to be left alone. Hell, we can't kill you, so going after you is a pointless waste of time and energy. Only thing is, though, well, I'm a serial killer, you know. Always have been. It's what I do. So, I guess what I'm asking is, let's put it this way, said Sally. I don't give a fuck what you guys do for fun. You waste a bitch. Waste a whole lot of bitches. Take as many trophies as you need to. Keep the bodies around for company. Turn them into jerky. Make lampshades out of their pussies. I don't care. I just want my life back. I wasn't cut out for this job. Didn't ask for it. Didn't want it. Don't need it. I'm just not final girl material. I just want to go home, take a long, hot shower, put on something decent that isn't, crusted with blood and man gravy, maybe smoke a bowl, watch some stupid TV. All right? Are we all on the same page here? Oh, cool, said Ski Mask. Chainsaw Dude, are you good with that? Chainsaw Dude shrugged. Yeah, whatever. They were silent for a moment, then, seriously, you have a thing for gerbils? Ski Mask pulled off the mask and ran his fingers through long, unkempt flaxen hair. His eyes were pale blue. A long, ragged scar cut across his face from just below his left eye to where his beard began. Yeah, man, he said. So what? That's a little gay. But, like I said, whatever floats your boat. It has nothing to do with sexual preference, and for the record, I am 100% hetero, unlike some people. I've actually been with girls. Or I could. At least I have the equipment for it. Hey, that is heading way below the belt, so to speak. Permission to chump wax? Asked Ski Mask. Permission very much granted, said Sally. Ski Mask lunged at Chainsaw Dude with the blade. He swiftly cut his throat and stabbed him in the heart. Gushing blood, Chainsaw Dude staggered in a circle and then collapsed on his face. The atmosphere went from bleak and gray to soft and diffuse. A golden ray of light peeked through the trees and began to spread. Music swelled from an unknown source. There was an awkward silence. So, what do we do now? Guess we just hang out for a while, said Sally. Until, 3 minutes later, Chainsaw Dude's body had vanished. What happened? Asked Ski Mask. Animals drag him off or something? You wish, said Sally, watching with detached amusement. As Chainsaw Dude suddenly sprang up from behind Ski Mask, saw roaring, the saw came down and neatly bisected Ski Mask. The two pieces fell apart in a shower of pus, blood, lymph, and bile. Ski Mask's intestines pooled out and lay on the ground in a steaming pile. Chainsaw Dude lowered the saw and glared meaningfully at Sally. She shook her head. Then he too fell down and lay finally still. Well, this has been fun, but I gotta go, said Sally. She heard noises in the forest. Branches cracked. Twigs snapped. A pair of wrinkled hands shot out, black with rot. Great. A zombie. Sally picked up the chainsaw and waited. The zombie emerged from the trees. Half his face was missing. One eye drooled out on its stalk, while the other eye socket swarmed with maggots. A cloud of flies buzzed around him. His overalls were falling off what was left of his shoulders. Sally lifted the chainsaw. The heft of it, its solid weight, felt good in her hands. She caressed the cutting chain and carefully picked off the meat, still clinging to it. A surge of giddy glee shot through her body as she raised the chainsaw above her head and brought it down on the zombie. Bits and shreds of gray flesh showered the air. She took her time with the decapitation, enjoying herself. Finally, she stopped. A pool of blood was spreading across the ground from the mound of body parts. Eyeballs gleamed from a soup of guts, bones, and fluids. Gobble, gobble, we accept her, said Sally under her breath. One of us. One of us. Maybe, just maybe, she did belong in the genre after all. Just not as the final girl.